One night, during a full moon, Jack woke up hearing strange sounds coming from Emily's room. Curious, he peeked through the crack in the door and saw a sight that made him gasp. Emily stood with her back to the door, her body bent over something. The sound of bones snapping and flesh being chewed filled the room. Jack saw Emily's bloodied hand lifting a piece of raw meat to her mouth. Emily.
The Lighthouse Secret.
The cold sea breeze blew strongly, bringing thick fog that enveloped the small island in the middle of the ocean. At the end of the island stands an old lighthouse, sturdy but full of mystery. Jack, a man in his 30s with dark, messy hair, has just been assigned as the new lighthouse keeper. That night, Jack stood at the top of the tower, his eyes sweeping across the dark horizon. The sound of waves breaking on the rocks was the only melody that accompanied him. He had been here for 3 weeks, and loneliness was starting to eat away at his soul. Suddenly, amidst the roar of the wind, a voice broke the silence. "Help! Help me!" A woman's voice, weak but clear. Jack's heart was beating fast. He grabbed the flashlight and rushed downstairs, descending the circular stairs at a rapid pace. On the rocky beach, his flashlight caught the figure of a woman. Her body was soaked, her white dress stuck tightly to her pale skin. "Oh my God! What happened?" Jack asked, running over. The woman looked up, her brilliant blue eyes meeting Jack's. My ship. My ship sank," he stammered, his body shaking violently. I'm the only survivor." Jack took off his jacket and draped it over the woman's shoulders. "Come on, we have to warm you up." "What's your name?" "Emily," he answered quietly. "Thank you for helping me." Jack takes Emily to a cottage near the lighthouse. He lit the fireplace and brewed a cup of hot tea for Emily. "How did you get stranded here?" Jack asked while handing him the tea. Emily sipped her tea slowly. "We were on our way to the next island. Suddenly a storm came. Everything happened so fast." Tears began to well up in his eyes. Jack felt sorry. "Don't worry, you are safe now. Tomorrow morning I will contact the mainland for help." Days passed, and Emily still lived on the island. For some reason, the radio signal was always bad whenever Jack tried to contact land. But Jack didn't mind. For the first time since serving here, he had friends. Emily's presence brings new color to Jack's life. They spend time together, walking on the beach, cooking, and sharing stories. Slowly but surely, the seeds of love began to grow between them. One night, during a full moon, Jack woke up hearing strange sounds coming from Emily's room. Curious, he peeked through the crack in the door and saw a sight that made him gasp. Emily stood with her back to the door, her body bent over something. The sound of bones snapping and flesh being chewed filled the room. Jack saw Emily's bloodied hand lifting a piece of raw meat to her mouth. "Emily! What in God's name are you doing?" Jack shouted, slamming the door open. Emily turned around slowly, her once blue eyes now flashing bright red. His blood-stained lips curved into a ghastly smile. "Oh Jack," he said in a voice that was no longer human. "I'm sorry. You shouldn't see this. You're not Emily," Jack stammered, stepping back. "Emily or the creature disguised as Emily?" laughed. "I'm not, I'm a sea creature that preys on lonely lighthouse keepers. And you, dear Jack, are the perfect prey." Jack turned and ran as hard as he could. He climbed the steps of the lighthouse, the sound of Emily's footsteps echoing behind him. At the top of the lighthouse, Jack is cornered. "You can't run," Jack, Emily grinned, showing off her sharp teeth. "I've been waiting for this moment since I first saw you. You will be my delicious meal tonight." Emily jumped at Jack. But just at that moment, the lighthouse light turned and its bright light shone on Emily. The creature screamed in pain, its body smoking and slowly melting into a puddle of foamy sea water. Jack sat limply, his breath coming out in short gasps. He stared at the puddle on the floor, the remains of what he thought was Emily. It turned out that the lighthouse light had turned on automatically just in time, saving his life from the terrible creature. The next day, a patrol boat arrives on the island, responding to a distress signal that Jack finally manages to send. When asked about his experiences during his weeks alone on the island, Jack only smiled weakly. Some secrets, he thought, were better kept in the silence of the old lighthouse.